peace in this house. Get out. Get out.
28 days after the Lutz family moved into their dream house, they were running for their lives. What happened to them is an experience in terror you will never forget, and you will believe in the Amityville Horror. From the best-selling book that made millions believe in the unbelievable, the Amityville Horror.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Ciao.
This week, we'll be discussing the horror classic, the Amityville Horror, with James Brolin, Margot Kidder, Rod Steiger, of all people.
Rod Steiger. Poor Judd is dead. Poor Judd Fry. You don't even know what that's from.
I do not know what that's from.
That's
Sweet
from
Jesus.
He was in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Very lovely. First of all, let's jump right in. What is your 30-second synopsis of the Amityville Horror?
All right. People move into a house that is above them for sure. Because these are pure working class folk moving into an effing mansion.
Right.
Even if they could have paid cash for this, there's no way they could even afford the repairs on this thing. Anyway, it's haunted, and quite frankly, they just couldn't handle it. So they wimped out and left and wrote a book. The end.
We don't know that. We don't know that from the movie. You're throwing in evidence, facts not found in evidence.
Damn it.
Is what I'm
All
saying.
right. Family moves into a house. Weird shit happens. No one seems, they have no friends.
Yes.
Except for a priest and a relative who's a nun, who basically says, your house smells like poop. I got to get out of here.
Yes.
And weird things happen, and they're like, holy crap. And they get out. The end. Nobody dies.
Nobody. Well, not in the movie. I guess before the movie takes place, I guess there's some murders.
Right. It does open to the previous tenants. That's why they're getting the sweet deal.
Right. But yeah, basically, true story. Ronnie DeFeo.
Yeah, part of it's true.
Flipped his wig, probably on meth or something. Goes nuts, PCP, and murders his entire family.
Right. Whatever 1970s meth was, that's what he was on.
PCP, angel dust. He was doing something bad. Doing some... At least that's what we think nowadays. He claims us, but the devil told him to do it, or voices, something along those lines.
Right. Killed all his brothers and sisters and his parents, and then tried to make it seem like it was a mafia hit.
Right.
And then once he got caught, oh, it's haunted.
The voices. So yeah, this big old waterfront mansion.
Oh my God, it has an outbuilding that could be a rental or a guest cottage. It has a place to park your boat. I mean, quite frankly, you have financial issues, sell your effing boat, boom. Secondly, you could rent out that for someone else to park their boat.
You could turn the place into a damn bed and
Give
breakfast.
me this mofo house. I'll figure out how to pay for it.
For sure. No, I mean, he's literally like, I love his 1% problems. He's like, well, they're raising the mooring charges on my fancy boat, so that's one reason why we should buy this place.
Because I gots to have a boat.
Because I gots to have a boat.
These are the first toys you buy when you're in the money, and they're the first toys you sell when things are going to shit.
Clearly, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when did you first see Amityville Horror? Do you recall?
No, I'm just going to tell you right now.
Lay it on me.
I read Amityville before I saw it.
Oh, for real?
Because when I was in junior high, before Harry Potter, this was the book to read. Everyone at my junior high read this book. It was a true story.
Quote,
says
unquote.
right on the cover,
Yep.
True story. And literally, you would read a book and pass it to your friend. Everybody was buzzing about this book. It was terrifying. In fact, I just picked up a copy last year at an estate sale for $1 and reread it. Still good stuff.
Still good stuff. Can't beat it.
Of course, it was much more terrifying when you actually believed it was all real.
Right.
Like Blair Witch, right? It was much more exciting when you're like, holy shit, man. Can you believe someone found this footage? Yeah.
Right.
So,
that's exactly right.
As with all things, and then you see the movie because you're like, it came out because the book was such a buzz. By the time the movie came out, there were some questions about the reality of it. And as you know, what usually happens, the movie is never as good as the book.
Well, and there are very specific differences between the movie and the book. Like they really try to add some stank on it for the movie. So no, I don't remember when I first saw it. I have some.
Well, quite
vision.
frankly, the murders took place a year before you were even hatched out of an egg. So you weren't even a twinkle in my parents' eyes.
Right. But I still remember it. I remember it my entire life because throughout the 80s, there were 100 sequels to this GD thing.
Oh, yeah.
Every couple of years. I mean, there were 3 official sequels. Then there were a bunch of made for TV. And then they actually did a remake in the 2005 starring Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, I think I saw that. He plays the James Brolin character.
He does. They gave him a beard.
He's real threatening. Ryan Reynolds is real threatening.
Well, he wasn't like cracking wise or whatever. He was doing his acting thing. It's all good.
I'm sorry. James Brolin with his old sweaty eyes and the red rim. He looks like he can put a hurt on you. I mean, he could put some Jack Nicholson hurt on you.
I don't know. Well, he's a big, burly dude with a beard and crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He's
a big working man. In fact, I found an interview with him and the real people. And he is literally twice the size as the original George Lutch, who has like a page boy haircut and like a tan leisure suit on. He's like a leprechaun.
Right. No. James Brolin was going through his Barry Gibb period.
Oh, full.
With the beard and the feathered
70s,
hair.
My friend.
Yes.
This is the 70s.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you see when you're like, Barbara had a good eye. She's like, yep, that's the one I'm putting the tap on. Get rid of, what's his name from MASH? What was his name with the curly dark hair? Goulding.
Elliot Gould?
Elliot Gould was one of her husbands, and she upgraded to a Brolin.
Well, she didn't upgrade to a Brolin until like the late 90s. So
whatever it takes, just wait. I'm waiting for a Brolin too. I'm just gonna wait.
Just keep waiting. Oh, sweet Jesus. Shall we jump right in?
I thought we did.
Highlights. Let me see. Let me go to my I wrote down bushy bearded Brolin already looks crazy. From the first moment you see him, already crazy as a goat, frankly.
Oh my God. Stepfathers, it's all steps seem crazy in the movies. Am I right or am I wrong?
There was literally a movie called The Stepfather.
Exactly. They're all ready to either abuse you physically or sexually any minute. It's like they already set it up like he's a dick, you know.
Well, now to be fair, he's a nice, reasonable guy early on, but very quickly he goes down the dark path.
Right. As soon as anything gets hard, then it's like your children.
Well, by then, I think you're not cutting him some slack. I think by then he's kind of possessed a little bit. I don't think, you think he was just the truth is coming out?
So you're defending George Lutz.
I'm defending Lutz. I think he was possessed by the house very early on. I don't think he was like, the truth is, this is really who he is. Do you think this is the reality?
I think it's interesting that he is possessed. Like, he's the only one who gets possessed.
Yes.
So therefore, he's the weakest link.
Well, they say, later in the movie, Margot Kidder's flipping through the microfiche, and she sees the picture of Ronnie DeFeo, the murderer, who used to live in the house. And, of course, it's just James Brolin's face again.
And they already said Ronnie DeFeo was, like, in his, like, 20.
Right.
And clearly this picture is James Brolin as, I don't know. You can't tell
45-year-old James Brolin.
In the 70s, I don't know if you're 30 or 50. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, I went and looked it up.
But you weren't goddamn 20, I'll tell you that.
No, that's for damn show. George Lutz, who James Brolin plays, and Ronnie DeFeo, the murderer, they did not look alike. They both had beards. I mean, does that mean something?
There you go.
This is the 70s. Everybody had a beard.
Everybody had a damn beard.
It's sad but true. But what's funny is, so I'm watching the movie. I've seen this 1,000 times, and I think it's pretty creepy, generally speaking. But
I have gone full cycles.
Go for
times where I'm like, this is so freaking boring. And this time I watch it because I swear to you, I thought we'd already done this, but it turns out I just watched it for fun. But this watch, it was like, this is good.
Well, and I said this to you. We talked about it briefly in the Conjuring 2 episode because the opening scene of Conjuring 2 deals with the Amityville house.
Correct. And
so
in
there's
the
some
book,
connection.
I think there's a reference. It's hard for me to remember. I listened to too many books, but the Warrens made a brief appearance here, which is not in the movie.
Right. Well, because they, in reality, they really weren't that involved in it. I think they popped in for one afternoon and George Lutz told them to hit the bricks or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, they try to take a lot of glory, but in reality, the Lutzes were in this house for less than a month.
Yes. Well, in the movie, there's literally a countdown. It's like the 2nd day, the 10th day, and then finally it says the last day. So, yes. Now, what was I going to say? So the final scene where it's like that kind of poltergeist moment where it's like, grab the kids, we're getting the hell out of here. I was watching it and I kept thinking to myself, there are like, eerie things that are happening, but really no one's in danger except from James Brolin.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, the walls are bleeding. That's serious. There's green slime in the toilet. That's serious. Okay.
I would have called the home warranty people at that point.
No question. But the only danger is James Brolin trying to get into at his stepkids with the axe and almost chops poor Margot Kidder before he comes to his senses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you come back from that, by the way.
No.
I don't know if counseling's going to get that done.
I don't know what kind of an abusive relationship she just rolled out of, but you just don't roll into dudes with axes trying to kill your kids without some history.
These are questions.
These are questions.
Because you're right. He doesn't go right. I mean, granted, he's chopping a lot of logs earlier in the movie, which is supposed to be like the foreshadowing. Like, he's starting to like that axe a little too much. Right. But he's basically just kind of a dick for a lot of the movie.
Yeah. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I'd be all F off.
Well, even his business partner shows up with the clairvoyant wife. It's important that his wife is clairvoyant, by the way. He's like, we haven't done payroll in a week. The guys are getting angry. Hey, just get off my back, man.
How about husband? You already telling us we can barely afford this house, and yet you're not going to work at all.
Right.
What's going on with that?
Right. Well, what does he do?
The 70s. Is it still the 50s where we don't question our husband? I'd be like, I can unpack the Tupperware, friend. Maybe you might want to go to work. Hit the skids. Wouldn't your wife be chasing you out? Get the hell to work.
Absolutely. Well, and because that's the thing. It's like, what does he do? Is it construction or something? I mean, he says
some kind of construction company. He owns it.
And yet he's crying poverty. I mean, I don't know. He says
maybe he's not. He's bad at
it. Maybe the truth comes out. Maybe he's bad. Well, they're like, at one point, it's like her brother's getting married and loses the $1,500 for the caterer.
Okay, this is one of my favorite points.
Go for
George
it.
is standing in the doorway. Didn't you think George just took the money?
Well, no.
They're having financial issues. He's been standing behind them the whole time. Saw him put the money in there. So now he has the cash and wrote a bogus check to the caterers.
Well, but later he's kind of digging around going, where's the money?
I think George just stole it.
He just stole it?
And for the show, he just added that in.
Because
the ghosts are taking money and nothing else. The only thing they've ever taken, I think, is George Lutz. So you're sticky fingers.
So you're suggesting George Lutz took the money for the caterers, spent it on hookers and booze, and then said, "Oh, here's the ghosts. The ghosts took the money. That must be it."
He's like $1,500. I mean, the business is clearly going to shit. It's Long Island. I'm sure the construction's all run by the mafia. So, boom.
Well, and this is pretty much a get out of jail free card from being a dick for a month. Not going to work. Oh, I was possessed, baby. It's not me. It's the devil. The devil made me do it.
Yeah, I'm about to get possessed by the axe and chase you down the street. Get to work. I can unpack the Tupperware. I can burn a cord of wood in a living room. Because what? Are we supposed to believe the living room fireplace heats this entire
house.
3,000 square foot house? No, there's a boiler in the basement. Give me a break.
Yes, this is sad but true. And then Father Delaney, is that his name? Shows up, Rod Steiger.
Yeah.
Lets himself in because Margot Kidder, divorcee, is a devout Catholic. So she's like one of those Catholics where it's like, I don't just go to church. I like hang out with the priest after hours. He comes in to like bless the house, and 5 seconds later, like flies are all over him. I think I'm leaving. I'm not waiting as long as he did. He was sitting in the fly room for, I swear to God, an hour and a half.
Okay, first of all, none of this made any goddamn sense. They were expecting him, and they weren't even at the house.
Right. Well, I guess he gave them a wide window.
At one point, he's in the house, and they all just pile into the boat and take off.
They're like, yeah, Father Delaney's coming by sometime. Let's go for a drive in the boat. How's that nice little sail?
And then the first step, I thought he was looking for them. So why
he called for them?
Yeah, he called for them and then just went up and sat in one of the kids' rooms. What?
You're right. He went to a random room and started saying prayers in this room. Why not start in the living room?
Yeah,
how about
your
that?
Way around.
Start in the foyer. A little sage. Do what you got to do. Don't go to a random kid's room by yourself.
Yeah, that's creeper. That's creeper.
There's questions.
Yeah, what if people are getting
answered.
dressed or something? Is he going to peek in the restroom too? No. Sorry.
Don't do it.
If you can't wait till you find them, and first of all, I've broken into your house.
Yes.
I just
trespass.
Let myself in.
Yes.
Hello. Okay, peace in the Middle East. No, that was all very weird and bizarre.
Well, and at the end of the movie, is he still blind and insane, sitting on a park bench?
Sitting on a park bench. We don't know.
There's no resolution for poor Father Delaney, who takes it worse than anybody. He goes to the house once. And then it's like, I can't even accept a call from Margot Kidder, or I get like stigmata blisters in my hand and go blind.
Exactly.
Basically.
And in the show, all the other priests were all totally dicks. So I'm like, okay, you don't believe me? You go. Why don't you go?
I love, did you notice that the head priest, played by Murray Hamilton, was also the mayor from Jaws?
I have that written down.
Yeah.
So we've gone
coincidence.
See, we had this discussion about whether Amity and Amityville were in fact the
Amity
same place.
Island and Amityville, same place.
Same place. Maybe
same
it's just
place.
Right across that little river there.
Right across the river.
So
same place.
Was this after he left the priesthood? He became the mayor.
Could be.
I saw that too.
He left the priesthood and then became the mayor. And both times he's like, hey, this ain't a big deal.
It ain't
Keep
a
it
big
to yourself.
Deal. Yeah.
Demonic possession, killer shark, not a big deal.
Yeah. We don't, it's just your priestly active imagination. Womp,
and
I
always have to talk about the fact that the mayor from Jaws 1 is still the mayor in Jaws 2. Elections matter.
And still, exactly. Everybody vote. or this too could happen to you.
That's what I'm saying. Sweet Lord.
I wrote stuff down like, why does the kid have a black Raggedy Ann? Mom used to have a Raggedy Ann. I went to an estate sale where it was an entire room of Raggedy Anns.
Are you suggesting it's like the African-American Raggedy Ann? Or are you suggesting
I could not figure out. I have never seen a black Raggedy Ann, but I wasn't sure if it was like, because at one point there's a silver cross.
Yes.
And then it's turned black, or is this the same thing? Because maybe in other parts of the country they have multiracial Raggedy Anns, but as far as I know, they're not so popular anymore. But did you notice that? I thought that was strange.
I literally thought it was the doll from The Wicker Man. How did it burn? How did it burn? Thank you. I really appreciated the 20-minute lovemaking montage. It just pops up in the middle of the movie.
Between James Brolin. Lois Lane's boobs.
Yes! Shocking! I was like, whoa! What's happening?
You really felt you needed to go there. Maybe they should have popped out in Superman. I don't know.
No question.
That's what caused him to break his neck. He was whipping around and take another look.
Whoa! Yeah. I mean, and they got 3 kids. You know, step 1 is lock the door. That's step 1 before you have your 20-minute lovemaking montage. You don't leave the door unlocked so little Amy can wander in. I'm scared.
And you're in your 40s. Who wants to have sex on a hardwood floor? My back already hurts thinking about it. You're an inch next to a nice, comfortable bed.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like you're making out in the back of a car at a lake or something exciting. This is like you're an inch away from not having like a spinal tear. So
a spinal tear.
Maybe I'm too old, but I prefer a bed over a cold floor. Boom.
No, I don't think there's anybody who would choose the cold floor. Truly.
James Brolin.
James Brolin.
He makes me do it on a hardwood floor.
I guess. This is the first signal that he's not a good guy.
There we go. Boom.
Let's do it on the floor, honey. And she had a flower in her hair the whole time. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
She's very festive.
She's a trippy biatch. Did you notice at one point James Brolin comes rolling out in his tighty-whities, and I could have given him an exam? I mean, there were all kinds of bumps and lumps. I was like,
okay. We're taking it a bridge too far. Yes.
Don't be sexist.
I don't want to know.
You're talking about Lois Lane's boobuses. I can talk
you
about
brought him up. You brought him up.
Lumps and bumps.
I didn't describe her boobs, by the way. Good
Lord.
Lord.
They were pretty good.
Not bad.
Natural.
Yeah. No, you're right about James Brolin's attire. It was tighty-whities, but he was wearing like a white long sleeve shirt. Yeah. It was an interesting combination.
Because they had just gotten out of bed, so it was bizarre.
He leaves a shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice Margot Kidder's coming home from shopping, and she is dressed like she goes to a Catholic reform school or something? It was like a weird...
It was some weird choices.
Yes. She had pigtails, and she had like a plaid skirt.
I think we're supposed to believe that. See, this is what I'm talking about, stepdad. So she's trying to look like a little girl for her husband.
Yeah. Questions.
I bet she's shaped like a seal too.
Okay. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I can't get behind this shit. Women need to look like women.
I agree with that. Moving on. Every toilet in the house after 2 weeks is like they flush it and green slime comes out.
It was black.
It was like black green. It was very dark green. So my question is, what are they feeding these kids?
Because it's not even the color of sewage. You know what it is? It's oil that is black gold Texas tea.
Texas tea!
You could have been pumping that stuff up. You could have rebuilt the whole house. George Lutz, dumb as a post.
Well, yeah, because later in the movie, he literally falls down a well full of the black gold Texas tea.
With Samara waiting at the bottom.
Is she? Might as well.
Actually,
Sweet Lord.
interesting enough. I know this
Please.
is. I don't even know if this is behind the scenes. So in the interview, George Lutz says the water is not what's colored, that the porcelain had changed color in all the toilets.
Get a little spick and span, get a scrub brush, call it a day. Exactly.
But
what do you think?
An odd clarification? Because he was talking about how the movie got a few things different.
Oh, okay. It's all creative writing. Get out of here. Get out of here, George Lutz. Every holy person that walked into the place immediately had like 20 minutes of loud screaming, throwing up. Did you notice that? Ah!
Yeah.
Ah! You have to pull over the car to do a screaming wretch.
Right.
It's like, what's happening? Get some Pepto-Bismol and get a hold of yourself, for God's sake. Poor Rod Steiger and Aunt Helena? Was that her name? Who was also a nun?
Yeah. You know, we have a cousin that's a nun.
Do we?
She's like 105. I don't know. Mother was telling me about her again. I think I've only met her a couple of times.
Interesting. And we
she
haven't
sent
talked
me like a prayer card for my graduation.
Well, she knows.
It's very
she knows
nunly.
You need it. She knows you need it. We have not talked about Jody.
Now, see, this is one of those things where Jody, for some reason, is much scarier in the movies. I mean, in the book, because logically, it makes no sense.
Right. Well, it makes no sense for a lot of reasons.
It makes no sense for a lot of reasons. Jody's a pig.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of inferred to a certain degree that Jody is the name of like maybe one of the deceased sisters of Ronnie DeFeo. But there was no daughter named Jody. Well, they weren't named Jody.
Margot Kidder sees the eyes and there's a pig snort.
Right. There's a snort? I didn't see.
Yes. There was a snort.
See, you think that's a bad scene. I think that's a good scene. If you don't know it's coming, I think it's pretty shocking. So
no, I don't think that's a bad scene. But and maybe it's not just the book.
What?
A pig?
It's a devil pig. Well, later I guess they
on
find
the second
like
floor
prints.
Window.
Right.
Telling you things.
There are hoof prints that they find. So it's important, as a pig, obviously an ungulate. So it depends how the hooves, pigs' hooves are different from other kinds of animals.
Maybe it's pig shit they smell the whole time because
pig
shit smells like human poo. So maybe they just keep walking into the room after the invisible pig takes a dump.
It could be. Jody didn't let me use the bathroom, evidently. So it's the imaginary friend, Jody, right? Babysitter gets locked in the closet, and I kept thinking, why is there a lock on the closet door anyway? What kind of stuff is going on here that we're locking things in the closet?
When I moved into my house, there was a lock with a key.
Oh, a skeleton key?
No, like
just a regular.
It's like a regular key. What do you think I'm living in? Amityville house?
You are
like a 1948 house.
No question.
Skeleton keys.
But you see, like when she is locked in there, you can see there's a keyhole, and later James Brolin's like, "There's not even a lock on this door." Was he already possessed, or is it bad writing? Question.
Well, I don't think she was really locked in, but I still would have given that little girl a smack.
Absolutely. Well, James Brolin starts yelling at the kids.
Hell yeah, her mom should have been yelling at her like for sure. You're never gonna get another babysitter because that little girl's. Not only are her parents going to come over and beat the shit out of you, but they're going to spread the word that you got like a psycho daughter who locks people in the closet.
No question.
So 4 kids, bye. No more babysitters. Hope you enjoyed it. So, well, she does. She goes, George yelled at me. Yeah.
You deserved it.
Yeah.
That's what Margot Kidder, already justifying her husband's abusive behavior.
It's step by step.
You deserved it.
The frog in the boiling water. You got to build up.
That's how it starts. I'm telling you. So you see the little later. Margaret Kidder looks out the window. You see the red eyes. I thought that was a good scene. And then at the end of the movie, James Brolin is looking up at the house, and you get a better look of the crazy pig face staring out the window. Not a good scene. I like just give me the red eyes. Give me the red eyes. I can do with that. I don't need to see a translucent pig snout poking out at me. No thanks.
All you need were the eyes. That's all I remember from the book. And I don't remember any explanation of who Jody is or why Jody is there. Maybe it's in there, but I have no memory of why there's a ghost pig.
No, I think we're supposed to think it's part of like the demonic possession that's going on in the house, I guess.
Is that a thing? It's pigs are a common familiar on the East Coast.
It is common. We all know the old wives' tales about the crazy pig demon.
Wouldn't it have been more terrifying if it was a goat? I mean, goat says devil to me.
I don't know if it'd been more terrifying, but it'd been less bizarre. A crazy old pig squirting around.
Now, let me tell you, I do have one thing that I've written down here, and I don't know why I wrote it, and maybe you can translate it. Okay. I have written post Christmas vacation. Oh, the Newell post. Remember how it came off in his hand? And remember on Christmas Vacation, it kept coming off.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm wondering if they got it from that.
Clearly. I think we can all agree Christmas Vacation takes a lot from Amityville Horror. No
there
question.
There are definitely bits and pieces.
No question.
Quit being patient with me, or you're going to get a finger. I will tell you, one of my favorite scenes is the weird, rapey hobo who comes over with a 6-pack of beer to the screen door.
Right, random. Some dude comes to the door and is like, "Hey, I'm here to say welcome to the neighborhood.
That's right."
Come in, and he has like a 6-pack of like High Life or something.
He's got High Life. He's got dark circles and rape in his eyes, and she's like, "Oh, hang on, the phone's ringing."
The phone rings, so she goes to answer the phone. Comes back, he's gone.
Yeah.
What in the hell was that?
Yeah.
What in the hell was that?
I don't know what that is. Is he a ghost? Is he just... And it's the back door, so he's come around to the back of the house.
Yes. Is this supernatural?
Scratching on the kitchen door. We don't know.
Is this supernatural, or is this just, hey, transients live in this area too? We're all part of the same community.
I will tell you, if you're going to be a transient, it's good to bring a gift.
You should.
That's should.
Just, common etiquette.
Oh, yeah. That looked like a sailory, rapey thing, for sure.
You said he had rape in his eyes?
He had some rape in his eyes. He had like a squint, and he was looking at her like she was a piece of Popeye's chicken. He was licking his lips.
You're adding stuff to this that's far more terrifying.
You are out of your mind. As a
Very
man,
upsetting.
You are obviously not going to feel threatened if crazy old Joe rolls in with a 6-pack. But as a woman...
You definitely don't answer the door. This is good rule of thumb. If
this
homeless
is the 70s.
If Sticky Joe is scratching at your door, you do not answer.
First
I
of all,
do it today. I do it today. I look out the peephole. I don't know you. I ain't answering. I'm not doing it.
Let me just tell you this, my friend. In the 70s, I think you will remember, our parents didn't even have a key to their front door and would send you through the doggy door to unlock the house when we'd come back from trips.
I didn't know it was because they just did not own a key.
They did not have a key to the house.
So you're saying Dad was James Brolin? There's no lock on this door.
It's the 70s.
Interesting. Anything goes.
Anything goes. You get robbed? Well, say la vie. Say la vie. Say la vie.
That's how the story goes.
There's so many things in this movie that remind me of other movies. At one point, James Brolin is, "I'm coming apart."
Yes.
What does that remind you of?
Is that James Dean?
No.
No, you're talking about The Room.
The Room!
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Yes. That's a good one.
That's all I kept thinking of.
It inspired it. Yes. Good times. So they escape. And again, so the final moment, they're running for the car. There's blood coming down the walls. Look, I understand. Get out. But in retrospect, there's no monster or ghost or demon chasing them.
It's just weird stuff. And James Brolin.
And James is the one.
James is the
one you run from.
And that little sassy girl who needs a spanking. But
no question.
That's it. Otherwise, whatever.
Well, and she goes, we forgot Harry, or whatever their motto was.
I was like, fuck Harry. I'll come back tomorrow and get that damn dog.
We can go to the pet store tomorrow, is what I would have said. We ain't never coming back. But he goes back to get it, falls through the stairs into the hole, because we didn't even talk about the red room that was discovered in the basement. Because the red room was
stupid.
It made no GD sense.
And it's like a high gloss paint. Are you telling me like the ancient people are using Sherwin-Williams like high gloss paint? No.
Yes, that's what they were doing. The ancient people. That's how they did it.
From ye old Sherwin-Williams.
That's right. He falls through the stairs into the hole in the ground and is covered with all sorts of stuff. A well filled with like black gold Texas tea. And then that crazy mutt is biting him as he's trying to get out. Now, then they kind of say, oh, thank you, saved my life, boy. Like he's pulling him out like he's Lassie.
Oh, shit.
Didn't seem that way to me.
Well, because I think he was possessed. And let me tell you, the well thing is not that weird because I'm on this Facebook group called Weird Things Found in Walls. And especially on the East Coast and like in England, people are like, finding walled up rooms with like a well under their house. Like they're doing construction. They're like, what the hell is this? And then they find the cap for where the old well used to be.
Coincidence?
Yeah. So this is not so bizarre, but painting it red, I can see walling it off. I mean, you don't want people falling in. We have water now that goes to the faucets.
So he rescues Harry. They get out to the car. They drive away. And there's no postscript, again, for poor Father Delaney, who's blind and insane, sitting on a park bench.
Yeah.
Very
They're
sad.
Such good friends. It's like Rosemary's Baby, where her dear friend like ends up dying in the hospital. And like, I forgot all about him.
Very
Again,
sad.
another group of people who really have no friends. At least they had the one party. The Lutzes clearly have no friends.
It's very sad. It's a sad situation.
And you think the families are coming back after George stole that 1,500?
That was it. That was the kiss of death. No, if you have no friends, I guess you have to go back and rescue the dog. But I would argue, at this stage of the game, it's always a bad idea to go back for the dog. I mean, and This Is Us. Spoiler alert, the father dies because he goes back to rescue the dog. Don't do it.
That dog is... Let me tell you, when there's a tornado, do they rescue the horse? They just turn the damn things loose. They're on their own. That's what old little doggy. If you're going to make it tomorrow, I'll drive to the end of the driveway and call you. But right now, we're going to the Sleazy 8. Peace.
We're out. We
are out.
Okay, any other highlights you want to talk about?
Well, the flies, it's very funny. I'm going to go back to that interview I saw. It was like CBS this morning. I can't remember. I think I sent it to you, or maybe I didn't. But
maybe I didn't.
Because he was talking about the flies. He's like, yeah, but, in this part of the country in the spring and summer, we get a lot of flies. So what's the difference between your flies and these flies?
Right.
And the wife with the thickest Jersey Shore, crazy Long Island, everybody loves Raymond accent is like, it was hundreds of flies.
It was.
I love it. They were challenging them so much harder than George Stephanopoulos interviewing the mayor of D.C.
Right.
Stephanopoulos needs to take note.
No question. It should be taught in every journalism class across the country. Damn it.
I'm going to put it on the site, you son of a...
Are you ready for behind the scenes?
Oh, lay it on.
There is a ton. So obviously, after...
Was this before or after Margot Kidder just totally lost her shit?
Well, I mean, the curse of Amityville Horror. There you go. Poor Margot Kidder. We love Margot Kidder.
I know, poor baby.
Basically, okay, so they left the house. They sold us to another couple who lived there for decades. Never saw anything.
Yeah, never
an issue.
Again.
Very sad. And they actually went and because the kind of evil eyes, the windows.
Yeah, it's like a Dutch colonial, so they just did what do they call it?
A reimagining.
They changed out the windows and the facade, so
it doesn't look like it because they were tired of freaks like showing up. And in fact,
for sure.
like when they wanted to make the movie, they were like, "We're not letting you." In fact, the whole town of Amityville was like, "We're not going to help you, and we don't want you here." So they had to go film in a totally different place.
Yeah, I mean, they had the money to shoot in the United States. Usually these things are filmed like in Bucharest.
Bucharest. James Brolin and Margot Kidder both said they think it's BS. They don't believe it at all. And actually, James Brolin became friendly with George Lutz, but still thought he was full of hooey.
Well, I think Jay Anson, who wrote it, has come out and said that they'd spin tales over bottles of wine, and that's how
right.
They came
it was
up with
it was the Lutz family, and it was the defense attorney for Ronnie DeFeo, who were sitting around and came up with the whole thing. Because of the movie's relatively modest budget, they could not meet James Brolin's normal fee. So just like The Omen,
they get a piece of the action
of gross sales.
Oh shit! Good for negotiation.
It became a huge hit, and he's rolling in the dough. Honey was rubbed on Rod Steiger's head to draw the flies to him. Isn't that nice?
Honey. So you're saying that at this time, Brolin was a bigger star than Steiger? Huh?
I had to look this up because this is one of those things. Rod Steiger was in real. He was in the heat of the night in the '60s.
In the heat of the night, he
was a big star. Now you could argue his kind of star had kind of fallen a bit by this point.
Right, it's the '70s. Everybody was suffering.
James Brolin is one of those actors where I'm just like, why are you famous? I know you were in Amityville Horror, but I guess he was in like Marcus Welby as like the third lead, something like that, like in the '60s.
Like I have ever seen a single episode.
Well, but it's like, you know, by the '70s.
That's
right.
TV,
by the
bro?
'70s and '80s, there were people who were just like, "Oh, I know who that is. What do you know him from?"
I was gonna say, I cannot tell you another thing besides Mary and Barbra Streisand that James.
Well, I remember him in the '80s. He was on a evening soap opera called Hotel with Connie Selica.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of. But that's the thing. If you're a TV.
Was Suzanne Plachette on that also?
If you're a movie star, you're not doing TV. So this already kind of tells us that things are kind of going sideways a little bit. I mean, prior to this, he was in Westworld, the movie, with like, oh man, Richard Benjamin.
Oh, I know. I totally know what Westworld is. You need not explain, brother. Although I would say the new Westworld is probably
the TV series is dynamite. I'm not going to lie. James Brolin was originally hesitant to be in this movie, okay? Because they didn't really have a script. They had nothing going on. But they said, go ahead and read the book, and that'll kind of give you an idea.
It'll kind of
give you an idea what we're doing. And he read it all in one night and he was in. He was in.
It was good. The book is good. I say, go to the used bookstore, spend $1. You will not be sad.
In the scene where James Brolin looks into the red room and sees like a similar face staring back at him, that was actually James Brolin's brother, and they put a fake beard on him because they want him to look like similar but not exactly the same.
Okay, well, that's just stupid. Next. There's a lesser Brolin? Is it like the Baldwins?
There absolutely is. While she's washing the dishes, Margot Kidder's character is humming the love theme from Superman. There you go. Good times.
Nice one. Yep. I didn't pick up on that, but it has been quite a while since I saw that original Superman.
When they were shooting the scene where Margot Kidder looks out the window and sees the red eyes, they tried to get like a real reaction of her, and they held up a Dayglow orange stuffed velour pig with glass eyes, and her reaction was to laugh hysterically. So they had to redo that scene. Poor Jodie.
I thought you were going to tell me like they shot a gun off.
They shot guns at her. Very sad.
Dance, I say.
She went on the record with her friends. Margot Kidder went on the record that she hated this film. Very sad. The Finnish title for this movie is "For God's Sakes, Get Out," which was the tagline.
Can you say it in Finland?
For goodness sake, get out. Thank you.
What?
Good times. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Ronnie DeFeo, when he was questioned why he murdered his family, said, "The voices told me to." Like I said, they made 2 sequels to this movie, theatrically released. There was Amityville 2, The Possession, which kind of showed an incredibly fictionalized version of Ronnie DeFeo's story, where he is possessed and kills his family.
Is that the one where it's like his sister was supposed to have been helping, but then she got killed?
That was kind of, there was a theory that was part of it. Really what it was just kind of a V.C. Andrews situation where he had a forbidden love with his sister. And that kind of pushed him towards...
And then it pushed him into a Menendez. Yep. And then... Oh, that's right. I did see that. And then it was like sister killed the little kids. It was supposed to just be the parents or something stupid.
Then there was Amityville 3D, which starred Meg Ryan.
Oh, Lord. Which is never a mark. It
starred Meg Ryan and Lori Loughlin. So there you go. Good times. Harrison Ford was approached for this movie. Burt Reynolds, James Caan.
And he said, hell no. Oh, my God. Can you imagine
James Caan. Reynolds?
I want to see that.
And Christopher Reeve.
No, I want to see the Burt Reynolds version of this. The Sally Field.
It's all the same thing. In the basement, the Red Room, the later occupants.
Freeze. I'm drifting off. Did you know the Cannonball Run was a real thing?
Yes. Then there were actually multiple movies about it. Yes.
But real.
Yes. It was called the Sea to Shining Sea race or something like that.
Yes, it was like Motor Trend magazine did the first one, and I listened to a podcast. I was like, "What?" It was like Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm Gladwell did it.
Criminal.
It's illegal. So
piss off. Go ahead. Back to what you were saying.
The Red Room. Later occupants just said, "Yeah, it was just a closet in the basement. Nothing outlandish. Very sad."
Clearly. Where the teenagers, they painted it red and put magic mushrooms because that's where they'd go to get baked without
very sad. I think that's about it. Should we talk about the cast? We kind of talked about him briefly. James Brolin played George Lutz. You know him from this movie. Westworld, Capricorn 1. Margot Kidder, obviously, the Black Christmas. We forget the famous Canadian actress.
Oh, she had a trashy mouth on
Black Superman, Christmas. All those movies. Rod Steiger, we know him in The Heat of the Night, On the Waterfront. Something called Duck You Sucker, and The Pawnbroker from 1964. Good times.
He sings in Oklahoma too.
I was going to talk about how lousy the acting of the children were. Scenes that were supposed to be terrifying. They had like blank expressions on their faces.
Terrible. Were they relatives?
Well, I will tell you this. The kid who played Matt, Mino Pellucci, was actually in a bunch of, not a bunch, he was in a few things in the early 80s. And he's the half-brother of Punky Brewster, Soleil Moon Frye. So there you go. Good times. Should we talk about the rating? The rating. Amityville Horror 19... 27% incredibly rotten. Audience,
interesting. Well, if you would like to see a better version of it, The Simpsons did a fantastic version of this on their Treehouse of Horror, where the house would rather kill itself than live another moment with the Simpsons.
For God's sakes, get out. What is your rating? Damn it.
Okay, I am going to give it 2.5 flies on sweaty old Rod Steiger out of 5.
I give it 5 loudly retching clergy. That's what I say.
Oh, you got this almost as a perfect movie.
This is
like up there with Rosemary's Baby.
I think it's great.
It's iconic, isn't it?
I think it's great. I think anybody should go see it. And frankly, it's not violent. It's not gory. There's no blood. It's just kind of creepy. Nobody dies. It's just
nobody dies. Nobody actually feels in super danger.
No.
It's nothing that's going to haunt you. But such a high rating, Kevin. How can you justify that? I mean, Rosemary's Baby is a 5. You're saying it's just one notch down from Rosemary's Baby or The Babadook or...
all I can judge it on is how much I enjoyed it.
It's just right under the surface.
4 out of 5 is 80%, by the way. So there you go. It's... So
that's a B.
So stop your
That's
complaining.
Generous.
Damn it.
I would say that this is a perfect, we're going to do like a Halloween marathon.
Absolutely.
You throw this in with like a poltergeist or something like that. I don't know about the Ryan Reynolds version. And the prequel, whatever. Go. I always say go with the classic. Watch the original Mummy, not Brendan Fraser, whatever the hell his name is.
Not Fraser. I'll tell you this though, if you have not seen Amityville 3D, it is hilarious. It is hilarious. Check it out. Meg Ryan disappears. No one knows or cares. It's basically Barb. It's Barb from the first season of Stranger Things, where it's just like, well, what happened to her? I don't know. So there you have it. Go to our page on Facebook at the Podcast That Wouldn't Die. Go to our page on Twitter at TPodcastTWDie. Email us at the Podcast That Wouldn't Die at Gmail. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc., etc. And Aaron, you are on social media.
The Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. I'm on the Insta and the Twitski. And I'm going to post on our Facebook page the interview with the real Lutzes on where they're getting the grilling that the mayor of
Good times. So there you have it. Thank you very much and be well.